Hello and welcome to Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a program that focuses on the accomplishments of students, faculty, and alumni affiliated with the Department of Communication. And in this episode, we're going to talk about all things theater as they have an exciting agenda planned for us this spring semester. And quite often, theater deals with plays pertaining to social injustice. In the fall, there's always an episode or a performance pertaining to children's theater. This spring, a return to Shakespeare with MacBeth. And we are delighted to have Corin Davis joining us, a senior from Theatre MSU. Corin, thank you so much for joining us here on Communication Connection.
Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here.
Well, you are involved in so many aspects of theater, and we'll get to that in just a moment, but you're involved behind the scenes as well as in the performance or on stage. What first brought you to MSU and Theatre MSU?
Well, I think first and foremost, it was the people. I went to SETC my senior year of high school, and I just gravitated around the Theatre MSU booth, and the people were so charming and delightful and fun. They didn't see me as a high school student. They saw me as a future bulldog, I guess. But it's always been the people, and being here made me realize that even more.
Well, very talented faculty, and they're always involved, as you say, SETC, the Southeast Theater Conference, and just having to return from that. And we'll talk about Labrat's involvement there as well. But let's move on to the play for this spring semester. The big main stage production is Shakespeare's MacBeth. Recently had the casting, and you are MacBeth. Certainly a challenging role. Tell us about how things are progressing.
Well, we just finished blocking as of yesterday, and I think things are going along swimmingly. The lines are hard. The lines are very difficult. Sometimes you have to really get them down phonetically and then go back and really dive into what they mean. It's a lot of movement, it's a lot of interaction with other people, and it's a lot of emotion that you have to control at all times. It's a very demanding show, but it's very rewarding, I think.
And for those who are not as familiar with Shakespeare, and in this case MacBeth, tell us about the premise of the play.
Well, MacBeth is a Scottish lord who, he kills the current king because he gets this premonition from some witches that if he does this, he will be king. And then that spirals out of control, and he just goes on. He sort of slips, and he loses his sanity, I guess, and he just starts killing more and more people, and it catches up to him, and it ends up with him dead and a lot of people dead. It's very graphic, but it's I think it's one of Shakespeare's most fun plays to read and to perform and to watch.
And a lot of challenges behind the scenes as far as having to work on fight scenes and things of that sort. And in your case, I think what makes you somewhat unique in the theater world is you are equally talented behind the scenes as well as in front of the audience on stage. And more recently, you've had a hand in the production designs of recent plays such as Once on This Island and the radio play of It's a Wonderful Life performed during the holidays.
Yeah, thank you. That is personally where my passion lies, is with theatrical scenic design and scenic painting, and those, it's really fun to collaborate with other designers and make the production happen. I think a lot of people look at theater as just acting when it's not. It's stage management, it's directing, it's playwriting, and it's design. And there are plenty of jobs out there for those positions, but it's so rewarding for me personally to make, a scenic design that people love to look at and that serves the show, and it really ties everything together, and it makes a production.
Well, a lot of people don't realize all of the work that goes in behind the scenes. I think they can understand learning lines and performing and how difficult that is, but all of the work behind the scenes. I once had someone ask me, where did you rent all those costumes for a play? And I said, well, the students along with faculty made all of those costumes, and they were kind of blown away. So I think it's the same reaction in understanding the week's worth of work and preparation it takes to actually put up a production on the stage.
It's a lot of lumber. It's a whole lot of lumber. We go through paint and lumber and a lot of wacky materials that you'll never think you'll ever use. When we did a banner, a Sea Turtle Saga, we used things like pool noodles and fiberglass and blue foam, and it's fun because every show is its own challenge, and you have to tackle it, one show at a time. But it's rewarding.
Well, you mentioned the word wacky, and so that makes for my transition into Lab Rats. Lab Rats, for those who don't know, it's an improv comedy group. My understanding is the name came about years ago when there were so many students hanging around the theater lab wanting to get involved that the faculty called them Lab Rats and the name stuck. But it's really an improv comedy group, and that's another new challenge for students that involves performance and quick wit and thinking.
Yeah, it's been around since 2003. It's gone through a few names. It was, I think, Running with Scissors, and then Iron Man, and now it's Lab Rats, and the name stuck because, like you said, we practice in the theater lab, and it really is my favorite student organization. The people are so charming and funny, and we all love each other, but it really challenges a performer to go up there with absolutely nothing and make something that's going to make people laugh or feel anything, really. But it's just a bunch of talented performers. And I couldn't be more proud of them.
Well, a different type of performance that most people might not know about you when they see 400 people out on a football field, but you're a part of the famous Maroon Band. That certainly has to be fun to be a part of that illustrious group. Tell us about that and what you play.
It is. I play the mellophone and the French horn in the wind ensemble, and I've been in there for 4 years, and that was the first thing I was a part of when I got here. And you show up and, there were around 40 people in my section. You just gain 40 friends. And it's never a dull moment with them at the football games, with wins or losses. We either cheer or we suffer together. And it really is fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of sweat, but I think it's worth it.
Well, so bringing it back to theater, I think one of the interesting components is at some places the faculty or the directors are fully in charge, but the faculty here like to give the students a lot of input. So you've had student-directed performances. Tell us about what it means for the students to have this kind of input in how things progress.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really important. I think it's something that our department does really well at, is letting the students take the reins. Every year or so, we have a fully student-done work. We've done Pipeline. My friend Donnie Andrade did that. Vernell Allen, he did All American Boys. And I've designed for them usually, and the production crew is always students. And it's something fresh, I think. It's a very passionate, young approach to theater. And so you get something really from the heart, I think.
An important part of theater, you mentioned going to the Southeast Theater Conference, students being able to audition, go out in summer stock, and in your case, you've been able to work in professional theater. Tell us about your experiences with the Carey Dinner Theater and the Opera Theater of St. Louis.
Yeah. It's fun to go and work with a professional theater. It's very different. Because you're a lot more independent, and it forces you to be self-sustainable and hold your own without anyone really holding your hand. But I feel a lot more confident after doing those in my abilities. It may be just moving some walls around, but it's still hard work, and it feels good to say that you've done it. And I feel good about the future, personally.
More ways that you've been involved. Theater has an honor society, and you're the president of that organization. Tell us about that, and how does one get involved?
Well, APO, or Alpha Psi Omega, is our honor society. We're the Eta Pi chapter, and currently we are every year we try to get our feet on the ground and have it running, but we do have members inducted every year. We have a point-based system where members will be looked at, and we look at what all they've done. Have they acted? Have they designed? Have they directed? And those points add up, and then we tally, and then we say, you've earned enough points this year. Welcome aboard. You're a member now. And those members, they really do lead. They're the ones who are always in the theater working on a show. Yeah.
Such dedicated faculty and students in the theater program. It really is kind of its own organization, a lot of camaraderie. So what would you say, with all that you've been able to accomplish in your years here, what's something that you consider to be the most important thing that you've learned?
Have fun. Really, have fun. If I wouldn't be doing theater if I wasn't having fun doing it. And it is a job, and it's easy to hone in on that, but it's also a job that has historically always been about having fun and embracing those emotions. So I think that's the most important thing I can say.
Give us some details then about MacBeth. I know we can go to the website, we can look at the box office. What type of information, show dates and information does the audience need to know?
Well, the performances are from February 22nd to 26th, and it is going to be in McComas Theater. What else? What else do I need to?
Typically 7:30 in the evening.
7:30.
And a Sunday
yes.
matinee, is that
There
correct?
is a Sunday matinee, I believe, at 2.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well, we just want to make sure the audience has that information. Go to our Department of Communication website or click on Theatre MSU.
Mm-hmm.
Your plans, you've done so much here. We have many students who have graduated and gone on to New York and other places. What are your plans upon graduation? How do you put all of this into motion?
Well, from here, SCTC has jobs. They're always having job contact. And so from there, looking at a summer stock job, and then going and finding year-long work or an internship, and following that path until it leads me to a grad school for scenic design, hopefully. And then from there, hopefully the world will open up. And I would love to teach one day. And I think theater is my future. I don't think I have another option.
Well, I think you positioned yourself well to be able to go out there and do a lot of different things. So I think you'll be successful and get your foot in the door. We thank you so much for joining us here on Communication Connection. We wish you all the best. And we thank you for watching us here on Communication Connection. Join us for MacBeth this spring, and we'll have a lot more for you. I'm Terry Likes. Thank you so much for watching Communication Connection. We'll see you next time.